Hello everyone, this Airplane MC reporting live. I mean, not live, but whenever you guys are watching this video. And today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a video on how to set up the Flybywire Airbus A380. Here, this is an Airbus A380. It's the biggest passenger plane of all time, and is my favorite plane to fly. And I have it, and I can actually fly this plane in real life. I mean, if any airline would let me. Okay, so here we are in the cockpit here. This is a complete Airbus A380 recreation of a cockpit here. Now, okay, now first, right now we're in Doha. We are starting from Qatar, and we're doing a flight from Qatar to Dubai, or it can be any airport, for example. So first things first, if you haven't gone SimBrief yet, you should download it. And what you're gonna do is set up your airport, all the charts and so on, and then you import it here. And then once that's imported here, you can also see the fuel and payload has been imported. Now if we go down to ground here, you can go to services and check if the ground power unit is here, which it is. Let's just open the doors and bring the jet bridge closer to us. It's currently night here, but wherever you're flying, you can do this without night, Never mind. Okay, so first what we're gonna do is start this thing up here. Now first what you're gonna do is turn on the external powers. Then you turn the IRS units to nav. Okay. Now we basically turn on the crew oxygen supply, turn on all the batteries, or just basically, if you see any white light, just make sure it's no longer white. If that makes any sense to you. After turning on the batteries, we turn on all of the fuel pumps. There's a total 21 buttons of it. If you're wondering, I'm using a mouse and I'm using my PC for this recording. Okay, and then you start up the APU master switch, APU starter, turn on the seatbelt signs. After you turn on the seatbelt signs, you're supposed to turn on the emergency exit signs. And now what you're gonna do is turn on the beacon lights, strobe lights, and so on. If it's a night flight, but if it's a daytime flight, you can just turn on the beacon lights and we're done with it. I'm just unsure on how this works. Okay, so now that we've turned on most of the lights, we just finish up everything. I swear to God, I hate the ATC on this one. Oh yeah, then what you're gonna do is test the lights here. See if all the light bulbs are working. And it seems like everything's working in order. Turn it off. Now I'm gonna do the engine fire test. Okay, that's clear. Alright, now we can turn on the APU bleed. And now we don't need the external power. Okay, now let's get up with setting up this thing for our flight. So here is the FMC, or the multifunction display. No, I forgot the name of this thing. But so basically what you're gonna do, it basically tells you everything you need to know. So here on your mouse, click here to the init page. And you see here you got aircraft, you have flight number from two airports, cruise flight temperature, and so on. And what you're gonna do, since I've imported this all on SimBrief, you're gonna copy the flight plan request here by clicking on this button. It may take some time to upload everything to the plane and so on, if it's like a really big flight, one of those long haul flights. But since it's a short haul flight, it did not take that long. Now we insert our flight plan here, and boom, we have everything almost ready. We got our we got a cruise flight, which is 21,000 feet. We got our temperature, cost index, and tropo. I don't know. Okay, now let's go to our in the meantime, while this is happening, you can start boarding your passengers here, just like that. Okay. And then now we have to go here to the dispatch page. So as you can clearly see, there's some unknown stuff here. If you're not a pilot, you wouldn't understand, but if you want, I can explain. So over here we need to we first need to enter everything we need to do here. Let's just sync that. Okay, perfect. So over here we need to set our departure. So we've already set up the airport we're departing from. So now we're going to set up our runway departure. We're going to set it up as 34 right. Now if we go back to our dispatch, we go down a little bit, and then you will find here the waypoints you're supposed to enter. Here. So what we're going to go here is go into SID and look for potential waypoints which is similar to the ones over here. So see them to E, okay. It can be any waypoints. I'm just using my flight points. Now you insert that into your okay, so then you insert it into your temporary flight plan, and then you proceed to go. Then after that, you go to your destination airport, which is listed here. Now you go into your landing runways. So for this, we go back to our dispatch and see what's our landing runway. Okay, so our landing runway is runway 12 left. Okay, let's just enter that in. Now for our approach, we can select ILS approach, runway 12 right, 12 left. But if you want, you can just go VOR approach, runway 12 left. Okay, then we have to enter our other waypoints. Like we have to do more waypoint entering here. Let's go here. Perfect. And now we insert this into our temporary flight plan. Okay. Scroll down. We insert everything, and then if you see any discontinues, make sure you delete them, because okay, so what you're gonna do, if you see any flight plan discontinuing on your FMC, what you have to do is just delete it as soon as you can, because what it'll do is just end your flight right there, and you'll have to fly manually the whole way. Okay. And seems like there's no other disconnections, discontinues, so we can just move on to set up our performance. Here, this is our performance page. So since we have a full load of passengers, we're gonna set up our V1. We're gonna set up our stuff here. I'm gonna use my keyboard here. So our V1 speed is gonna be 137 knots. No, actually, and our VR speed is gonna be 155. No, actually no, it's not gonna be 155. It's gonna be 160. And then our V2 is 180. That's basically what we're supposed to do. And this is for flaps 1 configuration. Okay, and the thrust for this is already given here. It says 42.7. So we can just enter this in FMC. So 42.7. Perfect. Now we are basically prepared for takeoff. And what we're going to do next is go to our fuel and load here and enter our zero fuel weight, okay, which is 37.3.0. That's our maximum takeoff weight. Block weight, I'm unsure, so we're going to set up as the maximum block weight, which is 59.0 tons. Okay, perfect. I'm still unsure on what zero fuel weight center of gravity is on my dispatch thing. Okay, but anyways, ignoring that, we can move on here, and what we've forgotten here is our trip wind here that we need to set. So we're gonna go back to our flight plan, dispatch, and look at the trip wind here. Seems like it's a tailwind of 30 knots. So we're gonna enter that here. Okay, let's enter that. tailwind T30, and it will identify that as a tailwind of 30 knots, and it will basically just do the rest for us. And basically that's basically everything you need to know. And now we have to set up our approach. So if we go back to the performance page, go to approach, make sure you know what the mag wind at your airport is, and so on. So for Dubai, I last checked, it was 0.7, it was 7 knots, and the outside air temperature was 27 degrees. The QNH is 1013, and I think minimum altitude is 1000. I mean 21,000. That's our minimum flight altitude for approaches like this. No, actually, it's a maximum flight altitude. We don't need to worry about this. I think it's. I'm still unsure on what this could be, so I'm just gonna enter it as 0.01. Okay, now that we're done with that, we can go to our flight plan here, and then we go into the full zoom mode here. This is basically showing our airport, and we're gonna set up our arrival airport. Here, this is where the Airbus A380 keeps its database of airports that it can land in, from in all alphabetical order. But for this flight, there's only 2 airports we need to worry about, Doha and Dubai. So we're gonna go to Dubai International. Let's display the airport. It's gonna take some time. In the meantime, we can just check on how the passenger boarding is going on. Okay, seems like everyone's finished boarding. Okay, let's check on services. Yeah, I think we need to give some catering to the passengers and get the baggage truck over here. Perfect. Let's just check on if it's loaded. No? Okay. It's still gonna take some time, even after quite some time. There you go. Okay. So now I'm gonna teach you how to set up the BTV system on the Airbus A380. So now what we're gonna do is move here and set up our runway arrival. So if I could just zoom in here. If you want to zoom in even more, just go here and continue our zoom. Okay. Now that it's finished zooming, can find out which runway is ours. Here 12 left is our runway, so we're gonna select that. Perfect. Now what we're gonna do is try and zoom out here. Zoom out. Okay. Never mind. So now what we're gonna do is try to find a brake limit line. Okay, so we can set BTV here, or we could set brake to vacate here. And once you do that, you arm brake to vacate. Oh, okay, I don't think we did that right. Okay, let's just zoom out if we. Okay, let me just display the app. Let's go back real quick. I think there's a problem with the system. Okay, but you can set that up later. But for now, we are basically ready for takeoff. We just gotta arm the flight directors and set our cruising altitude. And yeah, basically, you've done basically everything. Now you need to set up the engines, which is okay. So now that we're done with everything, we can just remove everything from our plane so that we have 0 drag. Make sure ground power unit is removed, the doors are closed, and yeah. And now we go to our pushback tug here. We turn it on. We call in the tug, turn off the parking brake, and reverse. You go, sorry. Okay, and then you start your pushback. Perfect. And during a pushback phase, you have to here. This is a live picture of what's happening in our plane. Okay. Anyways, Yeah. We also, for nighttime flights, I suggest making sure you're all everything's turned up to the max brightness so that you can fully see everything. Okay. Now what you're gonna do is start up the engines here. Okay. So engine 1, 2, 3, and 4. Although for most of the times you just start up engine 1 and 2 first, or 3 and 4 first, and then worry about the others later. Just make sure we done everything correct. Oh wait, yeah. First you turn on the ignition start, and then you turn on engine 1 and 2. Okay. Perfect. Okay, now we turn on engine 1 and 2. Okay, in the meantime we can start turn to the left here. And make sure we go slower. Oh no, back.
Takeoff runway tree, 4 right climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Departure on 126.7 squawk tree 25.
Okay. Engine 1 and 2 are getting starting up now. You can see it here on the ECAM here. Once they turn green, we can turn on engine number 4 and 5. Okay, and since they're green now, we can turn on engine number 3 and 4. Okay. Okay, so engine number 1 and 2 are almost done. Okay, we can stop, push back here. Let's remove the tug, turn on the parking brake. Okay, engine 1 and 2 have fully started up and ready for 3 and 4. Okay, 3 and 4 are green. Okay. Oh, would you look at it? It's a British Airways 747. That's weird. I can't read that on this.
1168 is cleared to King Khalid Airport as filed. Takeoff runway tree, 4 right climb and maintain 10,000 feet. Departure frequency is 124.05 squawk 1 tree 7. Qatari 1168 cleared to King Khalid Airport as filed.
I think now it should work.
4 right climb and maintain 10,000 feet.
Okay, now that BTV is fully set up, okay. Now we can check on our flight controls here, see if they work. Up. Okay, down. Okay, yours working. I mean, pitch is working. Now we're gonna test our turn capabilities. Okay, left, right, check. Alright, now we're gonna check our yaw here on the rudder. Full right, full left, and yeah, basically you've done everything you can. Okay, so now let's start our taxi to the runway here. Okay, now that we've finished setting up our flight plan, we can go back here. Okay, stop. Okay, this is very awkward here, doing a taxi on this big airplane here. Alright, so now what you're gonna do is make sure... Okay, let's just turn on our transmission. Okay, so now what you're gonna do here is basically make sure you make the taxiway lines line up here. You see what I'm asking? You make sure your taxiway lines line up with here or anywhere close to it, because that means you're going directly center. That's some advice I wanted to give you. Okay, slow down our turn here. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is taxi to run. One second. Let me just reduce the sound here. Oh God. Okay, check. Okay. Okay, I'm thinking I'm going on the wrong direction here, but I'm unsure. Okay, we should be able to. Let's just check left and right real quick. Yeah, I think we should. I think we should start crossing here. Okay, the rudder controls are unresponsive. Okay, slow down. I think we're going way too fast here, to be honest. Okay. We just gotta be careful of that 747 over here. We don't want to hit him since we have a massive wingspan. I guess it's absolutely big here. This airport is very hard to just taxi around, you know. It's just, the only problem with big airports is how long the taxi time is. Because if it's like an extremely big airport like Atlanta, you're gonna be there for a little bit over an hour. Okay, so this is the outside view. This is our Qatar Airways a380. It's very beautiful, in fact. And yeah, it's absolutely amazing to fly this plane here. Okay, now we start our turn to get to the other side of the airport. I know this might seem boring, but this is actually the third most important thing you should be worried about while doing flights like these. You always have to make sure you taxi to the correct runway and make sure you do not mess up by any means. And we're sort of perfectly on the center line. I'm just unsure. Let me just check on external here. Yeah, we are definitely on the center line. Just gonna trim it out here. Okay. Okay, let's just check. Okay. Anyways, I would just like to give you a fun fact about this plane. When this plane, the first airline which operated this plane was Singapore Airlines, which started operations in 2007, and Singapore Airlines is actually the second largest operator of the Airbus A380. It is bested only by Emirates with a staggering 123 Airbus A380s. They are basically the airline which wants the most A380s, and in fact got 50% of them, which is absolutely mind-boggling if you think about it. Okay. Alright, now we are approaching turn off towards the runway. Okay, let's slow down here. Start turning. This thing turns around very quickly. This thing would make oh my goodness me. Excuse me, sir. Could you please move out of the way? Okay, this is quite embarrassing, to be honest. But in real life, we would just be stuck there for a few minutes, unless the A320 decides to, use its small size advantage to get around me. But it would be very difficult. Okay, but thank God this is a game. Okay, let's just zoom out real quick. Let's just make sure everything's done. Oh yeah. Okay, so basically after you turn on the engines, to make sure ignition starts, sets back to norm, turn off the APU bleed, air, and APU master switch, and you are basically set for nearly a full flight. Now you just gotta get to the runway, which is the complicated part, if you're wondering. Although many pilots would say that taxi is also very much important when you're flying a plane. It's the most critical part, You gotta make sure you get everything correctly on this. Otherwise, you risk delaying your flight, and you would upset a lot of people. 1 second. Okay, check. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for that. Just had to cough off cam. of a microphone. Okay. Seems like this is a pretty empty. Seems pretty empty. There's nobody else around now. It's usually much more quiet around night, and that's when the least amount of traffic comes. Although if you're in India or any other country in the world, nighttime is when most international flights arrive to your country. Or if it's like a daytime US flight going from New York to London, then it would arrive like, I think, at the night time in Heathrow because of international daytime. Okay, we are nearing the runway threshold of the whole short point. Okay. By the way, this video is not the full flight. This is only what how do you set up the A380 for full autopilot flight, you know? Okay, perfect. Now we are starting to line up with the runway here. Yep, that's our runway. Let's just make sure no one else is coming or not. Okay, seems like no one else is coming for landing. Okay, let's just stop real quick. Let's visually check. Okay, no one's coming. No one's gonna come in the next half an hour or so. Although some planes are already lining up over here. Okay, let's just line up with the runway here. At least try to. And idle, full turn, and stop. Okay, never mind. We're gonna just have to just continue our turn. Just continue our turn, continue turning, come on. And yes, perfect. Alright, now what you're gonna do is you're gonna make sure your flaps are set to 1. And now you're just gonna have to wait for flaps to be set 15 degrees here. If you look over here, you can see flaps and the degree is currently in. See where my mouse is. It's 5, 6. Okay, now what you're gonna do, in case you abort takeoff, is arm the speed brake and press this button over here, which okay, never mind, don't press it when you've armed the BTV. Okay, now that the flaps have been fully extended, we can start our takeoff roll. Okay, but just in case, I don't think we need this since I'm confident that we want to abort takeoff. And full power. Ignore the march to caution. Perfect. And we are at full toga power. Okay, 80 knots. Come on. That's one problem with my computer freezing. 100. Checked. Okay, approaching V1 now.
V1.
Okay. Rotate. Okay, V2. Positive rev climb, gear up. And engage the autopilot from here. And now from here on out, the plane will just fly itself for you. But just make sure during immediate takeoff, do not retract your flaps yet. You still need that extra lift. Okay, we are usually for takeoffs like this. For a takeoff like this, you usually set your vertical speed to like 2,000 feet per minute or onwards. But here you really have to set it up for a high climb ratio. Okay, now that we are past a certain degree, we set our throttle to climb mode here. Okay, now we go down here, pull the throttle back to CL, and now the auto throttle will just manage it for us. Now you raise the flaps, and yeah, we are basically all go for the full flight. Okay, and that's basically how you set up the Airbus A380 for flight for full autopilot flight. I hope you guys like my video, and please subscribe to the channel. That is all. Bye.